I heard my nephew screaming from across the street. He was cutting the lawn for a neighbor. My brother-in-law was over there helping him, and all of a sudden my brother-in-law took off running to the backyard. I came around the corner of the house. My nephew's on top of a boat. My brother-in-law's wheeling a weed whacker back and forth, and the dog's going back and forth trying to get around him to get to my nephew. And he's chasing this way, then he's chasing it this way, like swinging it back and forth, keeping the dog back. Their ears were back. They were ready. They were in fight mode. They were focused on attack. At that point, the dog started coming towards me. I unholstered my pistol. I had it in front of me, and I yelled at the guy one more time. I was, "Get your dog." He was waiting to see it bite somebody. He was excited that his dog was attacking somebody. The police came. They came in very hot. There were guns drawn as soon as they got out of the car. Almost 2 days went by, and I'm sitting in jail, not getting the answer of what I'm being charged with or anything. I kept asking. I had to pull my pistol on a dog. Why am I here?
He did the right thing. This could have happened to anybody. John was facing 2 charges, felonious assault and felony firearm.
When the officer came and told me I was being charged with felonious assault, for a second I felt like helpless. I'm like, here I am locked in a cell, and what am I going to do? I felt lost. I'm like,
It's the prosecutor's office policy to charge anyone who draws a gun in a self-defense situation and to make them prove their innocence.
Today I'm sitting down with USCCA member John Dowling. This is his story. Thanks for talking with us today, John.
Thank you for having me.
Tell me what happened. How did this whole thing play out from start to finish?
I stopped by, check my mom. She had a roof leak. She wanted me to address on her house, and I was on top of the house checking out the roof leak, and I heard my nephew screaming from across the street. He was cutting the lawn for a neighbor, and my brother-in-law was over there helping him, and all of a sudden my brother-in-law took off running to the backyard where my nephew was, and so I thought he had the situation under control, and I started coming down the ladder to go over to see, to check, and all of a sudden I heard my brother-in-law screaming at the top of his lungs, for me, and so I immediately went, got down off the roof, ran across the street to see what was going on, and so I came around the corner of the house. My nephew's on top of a boat. My brother-in-law's wheeling a weed whacker back and forth, trying to get this dog off of him at this point, because the dog had chased my nephew around the yard, and my brother-in-law yelled to him to to get on the boat to get away from the dog, and he got on there just seconds before the dog had a chance to bite him, and then the dog turned and went after my brother-in-law. So then I come on the scene, and my brother-in-law was arguing with the dog's owner. Came out of the house. My brother-in-law and him were arguing back and forth. The owner of the dog thought the whole thing was a joke. He was laughing about it.
And the dogs are still
the dogs are
chasing
still
people around
still running back. The one was on the other side of the fence, but the bigger one got under the fence and got in the yard, and its ears were back. This dog was in full tilt. It was wanting to tear into somebody. I came on the scene, and I engaged with the dog's owner, and tell him, get your dog under control, and the dog started to come towards me, and the guy's like, what are you going to do about it? Laughing at me, and yelling a bunch of profanity at me. So I ended up having to pull my pistol, and I brought it around in front of me, and I gave him one last chance. I said, get your dog, or I'm going to have to put it down. And the dog started coming towards me, and it was aggressive. The dog, it was full,
Where were you pointing your pistol at this moment?
At the time, it was on the ground right in front of me when this whole thing was going on. And I started to point towards the dog because it was on its way towards me. And that's when the guy jumped over the fence and grabbed the dog.
And then what happened?
After that, I reholstered my gun. I got my nephew and my brother-in-law. We went back across the street, called the police department. They showed up. I had my pistol laying out, all, had the, unloaded, had my CPL laying right there, everything ready for when they got there. They got there, I explained what, the situation, I was the one with the gun, licensed CPL holder, gave our side of the story, what went down. And they went over, a couple officers went over, talked to him. The couple stayed over by us. They told me, after radioing back to the office, back to the station, they said it was protocol, they had to take me in to the station, so on and so forth. And I'm like, I fully cooperated. I'm like, absolutely do your job. And so they go on the way to the police station. The officer's telling me, he's like, you got nothing to worry about. You'll be out in a couple hours. You know, so we're like kind of joking about it because I'm getting married in 2 days when this whole thing went down. Like
Oh, wow.
my marriage is literally like this happened on Thursday. I'm getting married Saturday. And I'm like, you know, I asked him on the way there, and he's like, oh, dude, got nothing to worry about. You'll be laughing about this at your wedding.
My name is Jim Mikowski. I've been practicing law for 24 years. I got a call about 1 o'clock on a Friday afternoon from a concealed pistol license instructor. He said, I've got a friend of a friend who's in trouble. Then I was contacted by his fiancée, and his fiancée shared with me that they were supposed to get married in 29 hours.
29 hours.
29 hours. And everyone's very scared. They're panicked. They need to come up with a retainer. And I said that I understand that this is a stressful time, but I need a retainer. You know, they're panicking, trying to figure out how to come up with some cash. Then I thought, based upon the person who referred these people to me, that instructor is a strong advocate for USCCA. And I just thought to myself, you know, let's ask. So I asked his fiancée, do you know if he's a member of USCCA? And she said, I think so. I said, I'll call you back. So I contacted a few people I knew at USCCA headquarters, and they were able to determine that, yes, John was a member. Now it's about 2:30 in the afternoon. And
So this is all happening within 90 minutes that you're making the connection and getting hold of someone at USCCA.
it was very fast. So, you know, I talked to his fiancée and I explained, you know, what she had to do. She called USCCA approximately 2:45 p.m. By 3:20, 3:25, I had received a call back authorizing me to go visit him in jail. You know, told me they would that the claim was accepted.
No one's telling me anything.
That can be kind of ominous, huh?
Yeah, at this point, I don't even know if I'm even been charged with anything. Like, I've never been told I was charged with anything or anything, you know, nothing. Finally, the one of the officers opens up the door, yells at me, "You're being charged with a felony assault charge," and just slams the door on me.
That's how you got notified.
That's
of your
how I
charges.
got notified. And at this point, now I'm losing my cool. Like, I'm done being patient. Like, I've cooperated 100% through this whole time. I'm starting to get angry now. And then a different officer comes in like 15 minutes later, opens up the door, is like, "Your lawyer's here." And it's huge relief. I'm like, at this point, I'm like, I haven't had to make a phone call. My wife don't know who to call. Like, we don't get in trouble. We don't have lawyers like waiting. You know, like,
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not something that, you know, you think about, you know. And
So I went right down to the jail. I got there about 4:30 in the afternoon. I explained to John what his charges were, what was going on, got his side of the story.
so I walk in the room and I meet Jim, and he explains to me everything. He's like, "Oh, you're USCCA, you know, USCCA member," and everything. I was like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Yeah, your wife told me, and you're all set. We got you covered."
John was facing 2 charges, felonious assault and felony firearm. Felonious assault is a felony punishable by up to 4 years in prison. Felony firearm is a Michigan specific law that says if you use a firearm in the commission of a felony, then it's a 2-year prison term mandatory. I got him in front of the magistrate for arraignment on Saturday morning. We went in front of the magistrate about 11:30 a.m. I managed to secure a personal bond for him. He was released from jail approximately noon, and by 6 p.m. he was at his wedding.
We know he got married, so congratulations
Thank
on
you.
that.
Thank you.
I'm glad to hear that worked out. How did the rest of the incident, how did the rest of the legal elements of this play out, and how long did it take?
What happened is he told the police that I stuck my gun in his face. That's ultimately that's why the prosecutor or whatever took the case and ran with it. He had told them that I stuck the gun in his face. I had never been any more than 30 feet from this gentleman. Like, we weren't close enough, and he was never an immediate threat, so there would be no reason why I would ever
Did
do that.
anybody interview the other witnesses?
No, I had 4 other witnesses on site, and then the police didn't interview any of them.
Just took the statement of this
Yep,
guy.
his statement against mine.
Okay.
And that was it. And then that's what they ran with. When we finally were able to get in front of the judge for a preliminary hearing, the judge, listened to the lawyer, heard my witnesses, went through all the details of the case, and dismissed it right
Just
away.
like a summary dismissal, just said, hey, this is bogus.
Yeah, he was
Go
like,
home.
"This is questionable at best," was his exact words. When that judge dismissed it, it was just this huge weight off my chest.
It's the prosecutor's office policy to charge anyone who draws a gun in a self-defense situation and to make them prove their innocence. So my private investigator did background checks on all the people involved. She went out to the house. I think she did some surveillance, got some pictures of these dogs. The big thing was digging into the complaining witness's background, where we showed he had a felony history with assaultive crimes, and I believe there was even drug crimes related to it. We knew he was a bad guy, and his story, when we went to court finally, just didn't add up. I mean, he was lying.
Was the information provided by the private investigator the stuff that you needed to make these charges go away? Where would John be without a private investigator?
If he would not have had a private investigator, we'd probably gone to trial. Theoretically, he should have been able to win at trial, but you don't know. Private investigator is a charge over and above mine.
And that all that money is part of John's USCCA member benefits paid for by the insurance company?
Correct. He had to pay nothing out of pocket.
It felt good having a good lawyer to sit next to me in court. Knowing that I got somebody sticking up for me, not just court appointed. Somebody that's just put numbers through. Trying to get the case over. He reassured me a few times that things were going well, and kept me on a positive note with the whole situation, because there was a lot of emotions involved. There was times I was relieved that I had help, and then there was times that I was concerned, because my dad had passed away like 3 months before all this had happened, and all I kept thinking is, my mom's over here. I can't protect her. I'm not legally allowed to go to her house because the incident was across the street from her. Within 500 feet is the guy I can't have any contact with. And I'm like, if he's willing to lie like that, if I just showed up to help my mom, he's going to call the police, say,
Say that
whatever.
you were over there harassing him,
Correct.
or intimidating him, or something like that. You said he threatened you and your family during this incident.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit more about that.
As soon as I pulled my firearm and threatened to shoot the dog, he retaliated towards me and called me all these profanities, and he belongs to such and such gang, and my whole family is going to die for threatening to shoot his dog, and just went on and on, trying to intimidate us. I don't know what it was going, what his intentions were.
Did he get any tickets, or cops talk to him about him letting his dogs out?
No, actually, nothing was ever done to him, brought up to him. My sister had went to the police station a few times about him because of these dogs. At the time that everything had happened, my sister asked the police about the animal control to come out, and they told her they were closed. So we're not calling them; they're closed right now, because they want to come out and see if the dogs are even legally got legal tags or anything, or if they got their shots. Or what's nothing. But nothing was ever done to him, like as far as any charges or anything. The police department wouldn't cooperate with nothing.
So the only person who faced any legal consequences from this incident was the law-abiding gun owner with the concealed pistol permit, who was protecting two people who were under threat from vicious dogs.
Exactly.
It doesn't seem to be the right way.
Right.
Anything happened with your concealed carry permit, your concealed pistol license, anything like that?
I had to surrender it right away. As soon as I got out of jail, I put it in the mail, sent it to the sheriff's department.
What about your firearm? Did they take that for evidence, and did you get it back?
The police department took that for evidence. It took me almost, after everything was over, it took me about 4 months of hounding them, twice a week, 3 times a week. If I wasn't calling, I was showing up to the police department.
What was it like working with USCCA?
When I joined the USCCA, really didn't think I'd ever need it. But I hear a couple stories, you see a couple videos, and like, you know what? It's not a bad idea, like just in case. Because I don't know about you, but I don't go out looking for a fight.
Right.
I don't go out looking to start any kind of trouble.
And sometimes it comes to you.
Yeah. In a situation like this, it's life or death. I'm trying to save my nephew. Like, if I wasn't there, either my nephew or my brother-in-law would have probably got mauled.
How do you feel about that membership now?
Worth every penny. Actually, raised my membership.
Went up to the next level up?
Yeah.
In all of this, what did you have to pay out of pocket?
Nothing. Just my membership fees.
Just membership fees.
Yeah.
What would you say to somebody who has been thinking about joining the USCCA but has been putting it off?
I think I'd give them a short version of my situation and what had happened, and share with them all these videos and stuff out there that that shows that what kind of service you guys have and what kind of how helpful it is to have that. I mean, I myself didn't think I'd ever need it. I really didn't think I'd ever need it. Like, I'm a law-abiding citizen. I don't go looking for trouble. Like,
and you did the right thing
Yeah.
in this instance, but you still needed an attorney to prove that you did the right
Right.
thing. This whole innocent until proven guilty didn't seem to work in your favor right away.
right. As I said, the legal system's supposed to be you're innocent until proven guilty, but it seems to be more of the opposite. Like, you're guilty until you prove yourself innocent. In a lot of situations, especially like this situation, it took someone's word against mine. They didn't, as far as someone's character or something, like anything, witnesses, nothing seemed to matter in that situation. It was one person's view of what that situation was, and you're being charged with something that you never thought you would.
Where do you think you'd be if you didn't have a lawyer, a good lawyer to help you with this?
In debt. To be honest, I almost kind of feel like I probably would have wound up going to jail. Going to prison for a couple of years, all over using my weapon to pull my weapon out to save my family.
Did you hear what John said? When I joined the USCCA, I really didn't think I'd ever need it. But John did need it, even though he never pulled the trigger. When John stepped up to protect his young nephew and his brother-in-law, the justice system branded him as guilty until proven innocent. But he had help because of his USCCA membership. He paid $0 for his attorney. He paid $0 for his private investigator. He paid $0 to get bailed out of jail. That was all covered by his self-defense liability insurance benefit. All he paid were membership dues that cost him less than $1 a day. So I have a question for you. What if you were put into a scenario like John was? What if you are charged with multiple felonies and are facing mandatory time in jail and the loss of your gun rights? What if you don't have the resources you need to fight for your innocence? With a USCCA membership, you'll be 100% prepared, and here's how. As a national training organization, the USCCA focuses on making sure you have the mental and physical preparation to survive a deadly encounter. And as a member of the USCCA, you get the added benefit of self-defense liability insurance like John did, in case you're ever forced to defend yourself. That means you are mentally, physically, and legally prepared for any threat you might face. As a USCCA member, you'll have access to dozens of top-notch guides, checklists, self-defense training courses, and live fire training drills. All of this is available directly on your computer or your phone from the comfort of your own home. You'll also get access to dozens of perks, like an automatic subscription to Concealed Carry magazine and member-exclusive discounts. And the best part? You'll get peace of mind knowing you are completely prepared to protect yourself and the people you love. To learn more about the USCCA and to become a member today, all you have to do is click the link in the description below. You'll even find an exclusive bonus package just for people who join today. Just hurry, this bonus package won't last forever. Today, you might be like John, thinking that you'll never need a USCCA membership. But tomorrow, you might be forced into a situation where you do. Remember, peace of mind is a privilege earned by the prepared. So click the link below and arm yourself with a USCCA membership today.
The USCCA is not an insurance company. A policy has been issued to the USCCA. That policy provides the association and its members with self-defense liability insurance, subject to its terms, conditions, limitations, and exclusions. Contact 1-800-674-9779 with any questions.